what made you decide to go into independent practice?
Yeah, so I felt that for me, independent practice would give me the best opportunity to have the greatest impact on my career and I guess my destiny, if you want to call it that. I felt that private practice would let me practice the way that I want to practice without any sort of bureaucratic oversight. Coming out of training, we all want to practice in a group where, we're keeping up with the latest and greatest of diagnostics, therapeutics, technologies, just to advance patient care and help our patient population. And as a private practice urologist, I mean, each urologist in the group is a driving force and decision maker in that whole process. So you have the flexibility to grow your practice to meet your patient needs and as you see fit.
Okay, so what are some of the main benefits of independent practice versus being employed by a health system?
Yeah, so first, the medical decisions that you make directly impact your practice. So for example, if there's a new piece of medical equipment, a new laser, a new ureteroscope, or some new technology that you want to try out or purchase, you could do it. If there's a new molecular test that comes along that you want to start utilizing, go ahead. If you want to tailor your practice to focus just on a certain aspect of urology, you have the freedom and flexibility to do that as well. There's no bureaucracy, there's no red tape. As I said, you can really grow your practice as you see fit, just based on what your patient and what your group needs. Second thing that I would say is you control your schedule. Let's say you want to go in at 9 o'clock every day instead of 8 o'clock, just so you can get your kids off to school. You can do that. Let's say you want to go in late on Wednesdays because you're going to meet friends for breakfast once a week or go to yoga or something like that. You have the flexibility to do that as well. You can guide your schedule to fit your lifestyle as opposed to the other way around. And lastly, higher compensation is pretty attractive. When you're in private practice, there's opportunities for buy-ins and building equity in the practice. And so you'll get the short-term and long-term benefits financially just from that.
So I hear that when you are in independent practice, you have more autonomy over like financial decisions versus, hospital care. Is that true?
Absolutely true. So, when you're in a private practice group, the compensation formula is determined by you and your partners, not by hospital administrators or based on any hospital metrics. I mean, you'll get stuff in the mail, emails about these hospitals that are offering these really lucrative offers to get you there. And then after being there for a year or two, they cut you down and they start to determine your quotas and what you get paid. And if you're in private practice, you and your partners determine what your compensation looks like. So that just has a lot of freedom associated with that. And as far as patient decisions, urology is moving so fast nowadays. I mean, it seems like every month there's a new test, a new piece of technology, a new therapeutic or diagnostic. And what you're able to do in private practice is take advantage of those things without having to lobby to anybody for them. You don't have to go to a non-urologist hospital administrator or wait for the annual capital budget to come out to see if they'll give you some money so you can start getting involved with this stuff. You really just have the opportunity to do that whenever you want.
So do you have any advice for third year residents?
Yeah, so, what I would say is that it's easy when you're in the middle of residency, and especially third year, you're kind of getting your feet under you and starting to feel pretty comfortable in urology. It's easy when you're in the middle just to kind of see academics or maybe even an employed model as the way to go, just because it's comfortable, it's what you're used to. And there's not very many residency programs out there that offer a private practice rotation. So as a resident, you really have no idea how private practice works in a sense. I mean, you have no idea about contracts and buy-ins and partnerships and compensation formulas and really what private practice has to offer. So what I would say is that when you do begin your job search, try to include some private groups in there just so you can see what it looks like. And you may be surprised that you can find exactly what you're looking for. And that includes, residents that are academically focused and want to do some research. Many LUGPA groups and other private practices, including ours, we do get involved in research. So the opportunity exists for you to have the best of both worlds.
So your biography, your accomplishments are quite impressive, and you're super young. So to someone else from the outside looking in, it looks like you kind of have it all. So how do you maintain that? How do you maintain a work-life balance still look so young and vibrant and still look like you're loving what you're doing.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. I don't really strive for balance. Balance seems like to me, kind of like a Sisyphean task, kind of an exercise in futility. I mean, I know it comes up a lot. It's kind of a hot phrase, kind of a buzz phrase, but balance seems like one of those things that, we're never going to achieve. So I kind of look at it rather as work-life contentment, what's going to make me content at home and what's going to make me content at work. And yeah, it's a work in progress. I mean, it requires a lot of thought, a lot of prayer, planning, talking with family about things. Um, Personally, a couple of key concepts for me, first off, time off is sacred. Weekends are so important for family time. I take the day off of work for every family member's birthdays, for mine, my wife, my kids, just to celebrate a special day. And I also make sure to take a week off every quarter, whether I go somewhere or not. I think just taking a week off away from the office could be pretty restorative. Um, I think also the second concept is just finding something in your practice that you enjoy and that you want to focus on. Our group made the decision a while ago that each of us in the group would find what we like to do and just focus heavily on that thing. Now, we all still practice general urology, but, for example, I enjoy doing men's health, so I have a focus on that in my practice. One of my other partners does advanced prostate cancer, another does female urology. And so what that's done is it's increased quality and it's helped patient care. It also increases our efficiency and overall our job satisfaction. We enjoy coming to work because while we're there working hard, we're still getting to really focus on the things or the aspects of urology that we enjoy. And I think the other thing is knowing your workday limits. I try to limit my clinic just below critical mass, which it's easy for things to get overwhelming. I think if you were to open up a urology clinic anywhere in the country from 8 to 8, 7 days a week, it would fill up. And, the rat race can consume you if you let it. So, the good thing about private practice urology and what I've mentioned already is you have the ability to be flexible with your schedule and set those limits to help your team stay efficient, help you stay efficient, and avoid burnout across the board.
So, how do you continue to educate yourself about new research, new treatments? Like you said, this is like a rat race. So, how do
Yeah.
you do it?
Yeah, there's so much stuff kind of hitting you rapidly from all directions. I mean, I think, where I am, I mean, I'm blessed to be part of a group that is very forward thinking. Each of us are always trying to improve patient care and looking ahead at bringing in new and updated treatments to the practice. We have the enormous asset of the Carolina Urologic Research Center here that Dr. Neil Shore directs. And through that, we've got access to dozens of clinical trials in the oncology space and BPH, overactive bladder, and a variety of other topics. So those two things have been very helpful. Outside of work, I really use the AUA update series. I find that to be very beneficial. And also I listen to the AUA podcasts, when I'm driving to work sometimes, and that helps too.
So, back on family life. So, you have three sons, which to me is
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness, they're so rambunctious. I can imagine you just running around everywhere having a great time. Can you
Yes.
explain a day in the life of managing that and like home life and also
Yeah.
being as accomplished as you are?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah, there's a lot of energy in the house and a lot of volume, but it's a lot of fun. My kids, they're early risers, and I get up and basically hit the ground running. I'm not one of those people that can get up kind of an hour beforehand and do some stuff. I applaud people that can. I just can't motivate myself to do that. But I get up when they get up, get them fed, get my wife and I caffeinated, try not to leave her with too chaotic of a situation, and then I head off to work. And then I make sure I'm home by 5 every day. That's pretty important to me. It's one of those schedule limitations I put in is ending my clinic a little earlier just to make sure I'm home by 5. This way I can, do the nighttime routine, read to my kids every night and put them to bed. Soccer season just started, so twice a week now I'm carting my two oldest off to soccer, and then we get them home, dinner, and then try to relax before bed. Do a little work sometimes in the evenings, not so much doing notes from the day, but maybe a CME, go through some emails, read a journal article. I also play a lot of piano, video games, and if Clemson sports are on TV, I'm watching it. So I try to unwind that way.
My last question is, are there any apps or anything that you use to stay positive? And you said AAU, podcast, anything else to stay healthy? Or do you just stick with news? Do you stick with medical news? What kind of stuff do you listen to?
Yeah, I try to avoid national news. It just seems like that just kind of gets everybody a little fired up. So I try to stay away from that if I can. But I think it's very important for me personally. My Christian faith is extremely important, and so I think that starting my day off engaging in something with that is very important for me, and starting the day off in the right mindset. And so usually what I'll do is I'll listen to a podcast on the way into work. Usually it's a Christian apologetics podcast, and I'll try to read something Christ-centered at night before I go to bed, just to kind of close the day. Exercise, I think, is very important to me as well, just physically plus mentally. And there's several programs that I've gone through, and there's a variety of apps out there, and it's going to be different for everybody. I don't have time to go to the gym. I've got 3 kids at home, no time to go to the gym for an hour, hour and a half. And I know a lot of residents don't have that time either. So I've just managed to find a couple of programs that work pretty well for me. I can work out at home. I work out sometimes in my office during lunch. That works out too. I think the key is just finding something that has helped me to stay consistent and be able to do it several days a week has been important. And lastly, I hear that sleep is pretty good too. I might try to get some when the kids are older, but it's on my list.
This was great. Thank you so much for your help with it.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking me to do it.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
All right. See you. Bye.